Hey folks, how you doing? Wanna do another knife test, knife review, and before I show you, I gotta show you. Got myself a new toy, the new tool for my outdoors adventures. Got the recurve takedown bow from Martin Archery, Martin Jaguar, 40 pounds. My first bow ever. I've shot bow maybe twice or three times when I was younger. But it is something I wanna, train and practice, just like the bow gun. It's fun, and it's something you wanna know at least the basics if you are into the outdoors, and it's definitely gonna be fun and good experience, and hopefully I'll learn some basics on it so I will be able to use it if I ever need to. But looks solid so far. Looks solid. It's scary for me. As the first time, it was scary to string it. It was fun. So what I want to show you today is one of my favorite knives. Actually got it pretty recently, a couple weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago. Been carrying it ever since. I love it. It's a Spyderco Terzuola Slip It. It's designed for Bob Terzuola, pretty big time knife maker, and this one is a little different than the regular Slip It version from Spyderco. Their Slip It families. This one uses completely different slip joint mechanism. And I really like this one. It's funny because I didn't know that this uses that system, and when I was actually I think I mentioned in the other video, I was actually thinking about doing some kind of like a slip joint knife for myself, my custom, and I actually thought about the same exact principle what this one works off, and that is it has liners inside. This one has hidden liners, and it has three different detent balls on the liners, and the liners are milled out on the inside, so they spring, they have way to go out, just like a regular detent ball works on the folders, and that's what creates the detents in three different positions, and it's pretty sweet. I like it, definitely like it better than the regular slip joint, and beautiful knife, I think. Actually, I just found out that it is already discontinued, and if you guys live somewhere where the locking knives might be a problem, I definitely recommend this, because I did handle a couple of the regular slip joints from Spyderco. I gotta say I wasn't the biggest fan, but this one I grew to love. I love it. It has that little funky look, but like all Spyderco, it's very comfortable in the hand. Has that really good feature that you cannot close it on your finger when you hold it because of that little ricasso up front. Very nice. I'm curious why. I think it would look actually even nicer if they kept that blade a little broader on the front. You see how they cut it out here? I think if that blade would actually be going from the bottom of that little notch here, if it kept going, I think it would look even better. But that's Bob's design, and I think it's a good looking knife. First I wasn't so impressed when I just saw it in the pictures, but I actually handled this knife at one of the very few local knife shops, and I loved it. Carbon fiber handle, very interesting. Like Tough Tom said, it doesn't look like any carbon fiber I've ever seen. Spyderco's carbon fiber it just looks completely different. The structure of the fiber inside, if you compare the carbon fiber I have and this, it just looks like day and night. It looks completely different. It has texture, this one actually, on the top, on the outside layers. It has pretty decent texture, nice and smooth, nothing crazy aggressive, but it is very nice in the hand. It's nicer instead of just being flat. The Spidey hole is a little smaller than normally, but it's still plenty big to open it one hand comfortably, and you can actually close it one hand just as well, just by pushing on the top, going to the first, like the midway position, and then just close it with the thumb. Pocket clip, nice and simple, yet good looking. I think you can swap left and right, only tip up carry, which is my preferable anyway. It comes actually with pre-made lanyard, which has the lanyard loop is actually sticking out. The backspacer itself sticks out in one place with a hole, and that's actually a backspacer, the lanyard loop. Very neatly done. I like that. Knife is very light. It's not even 2.5 ounces, right under 2.5 ounces. Nice thing also, it being a slip joint, they of course thought about UK, so the actual blade from the top of the handle to the tip is right under 3 inches, and the actual cutting edge itself is 2 3/4. So UK legal, no problem. Of course, New York legal also, as long as you don't have it clip in your pocket and cop sees you with it. It's 0.1 inch thick, the blade stock, so nothing crazy. It's about 2.5 millimeters, but that's all you need in the pocket knife. One downside, as I mentioned yesterday, hollow grind knife, which is actually a cost of a lot of production knives. That's how they cut costs, you know, hollow grinding, because that's the way to do it for them, cheap and fast. And I think that's the reason why they do it, because I'm pretty sure most of the people do not like hollow grind. It is just cheaper to make, manufacture. Edge itself isn't that bad. It's right on about that 25 thousandths of an inch right behind the secondary bevel. So nothing crazy thick. It's a good cutter. One thing I do have to say, this is I think this should be, oh no, this is actually Taiwan made. This S30V, I have much better experiences in the past with S30V from Spyderco than on this knife. I think there is something wrong with the heat treat, because that most use area towards the tip, what I use the most, I'm getting really big amount of flattening, you know, just dulling, really massive dulling after very minor use, which I'm not used to on my knife. So I have a suspicion that it's not at its best what this still can be, and I think we're gonna see it actually in the test. What I'm gonna start with, I'll just show you that knife is nice and sharp. Didn't convex it, it's just strapped regular V edge, so nothing changed on it. I actually am gonna show you what everything you can do with the slip joint knife, nice and safe. You can push cut paracord without any problem. You see that the front is actually does give me problem, because it's not as sharp as the rest already, just because it was only strapped. And I will reprofile this knife. I am thinking actually bringing the whole grind to the convex. I'll see, I gotta check it out and see if I actually can, if it won't be too thin then if I do it. But cut's nice. I like the shape, I like the weight of it. It's a great EDC knife. See that leather? I actually do have to put quite amount of force into the push cut to get to that leather. If I'm slices decently. Let's do some cardboard. I have some bags here, actually from that compound bowl. I think this is gonna kick butt to this edge, because like I said, it doesn't hold as good as S30V should. You can actually probably even hear, but I can definitely feel a big difference from what I'm used to on my knives cutting through cardboard. Because notice that blade is pretty, it's not very high, it's pretty narrow blade, and even that hollow grind comes up only halfway up, so you have, it's pretty steep, you know, it comes up pretty steep, so it binds up whatever you're cutting, if you're cutting actually into the material, not only surface with the edge, all the material actually trying to bind up on that edge, on the side of the blade. That's what causes the resistance on everything you're cutting. Interesting already. You said it only a couple passes through the cardboard, and exactly in that area where I did most of cutting here, the first 1 inch of the blade, I actually really have to try to cut it. If I just go normally what I would expect, it's already having problems. So there is, I would say that still isn't as good as it really can be, because for example my paramilitary 2 S30V just holds excellent. I can cut with that knife day and night, and it will stay sharp a lot longer than this. But despite that, I do love this knife. Actually, the point of this video is what I want to not just test the knife, I want to show you what everything you actually can do with the slip joint safely. Because people do overstress the importance of the lock strength and everything. People do overrate it a lot. You know, everybody thinks that they are the next action hero. And ow, I cut myself on the cardboard. And if you are in the occupation where you might run into that thing, if you do have a high risk of having to use your knife for self-defense, just get a good fixed blade. There's so many good fixed blades that you can carry just as good as a folding knife. Let's see. I do have a bunch of gunk, so let me clean this so it's fair, because that glue does bad things when you're trying to cut paper. You can see that just couple passes through the cardboard and the edge as I like it is gone. I'm pretty sure that if I grab a printing paper, this knife will still slice it without any problem. So important thing is, when I say that the edge is gone, it's the edge that I prefer on my knife. Most of the people would probably still think that this is a sharp knife, but it's definitely not sharp by my standards. It would do in you know, I would finish the day with a knife like this, but it would definitely have to be touched up on the end of the day. Now the fun stuff, how it cuts if you actually want to cut something other than paper. Cuts pretty nice, even for such a steep hollow grind. That wood cuts nicely because it does push it away a little bit. But if I were to cut probably here straight on to the side, the width of the wood into it, I can't. There is just too much resistance. The edge is too thick, so I can only go start it on the corner and then cut into it, because it does push the wood away. But if I try to cut this way, no way. What's here by hand? This is the closest one. This is my first knife. Let's see. This is also pretty steep, but I can actually cut throughout the whole width of the wood. I can cut into it. With this knife, no, you just don't have the power in the cut, and the blade has too much resistance. So that's that. And now I want to show you that you can actually baton even with the slip joint without worrying that anything happens. And so I practice what I preach, actually. Same thing with this, you know, if I will baton with the knife open and I will hold it this way and will overstress it, I can damage the stop pin and I can ruin the knife that way. But if I put it to the halfway, actually this is nice because it actually stops on the detent balls. There is nothing you can mess up. It can only move up and down a little bit, but it actually stops here, so it's actually even safer than the regular folding knife. Halfway open, grab it by the spidey hole. There's actually pretty decent notch with it, and it's nice and comfortable. I'm not worried that I would hurt myself. I'm not worried because I hold it, that I have my fingers on the spidey hole and just supporting it on the end here. My fingers are not in the way, so even if by some miracle I would bump into this and it would close, nothing happens. I'm just holding it this way, and at the same time I'm not putting any pressure on the handle, so no force comes into the pivot hole. It's literally like I was holding a small little fixed blade and I just have something, you know, hanging off it just to help me balance it and control it. So I can do anything I really want and I would ever need with a small little slip joint. I can split regular way just as well. Since I have it here, let's see if I can snap it through this way. This little piece I did here. The base, my blue padding bounces off. See how it binds in? It actually don't want to go any deeper because the wood binds in into onto the sides of the blade. But there you go, clipped it right off when I went from the other side, and edges no damage. Actually, you don't see the damage. All you see is super micro flattening. You won't be able to see it on the camera, but actually on the very front, that little belly that's get used the most, that's where you, after the 2 days, that's where I actually see that little flattening, which I normally don't see so early on other knives or other better quality knives. And only thing what you will be limited with this knife is in the stabbing motion, but really honestly, I mean, I have no experience, no training, no practice, anything in any kind of martial arts, but almost every person who does and I talk to that do say that nowadays most of the martial arts actually practice motion where they slice. You do not stab. Yeah, people who will try to, you know, be kind of smart, I'm definitely making it sound more than it is, but people who will try to be, you know, smart asses will tell you that you will stab somebody faster with stabbing than with slicing. But in reality, I mean, those people train these techniques for a reason. It's if it comes down to it, it's not like you're gonna walk up to your attacker and just stab him wherever you want. It just doesn't work that way. And I think a lot of people will agree with me that a lot of people who actually do know a lot of the stuff. You see, the edge cannot even push cut paracord now. I have to really push on it. And it's in that one portion between this area and the front where the blade did the least cutting. It's fine. Of course it's still gonna power through the wood if I force it in, but it's just really brute force mechanical cutting. It's not because it's still sharp or something. See, there is that one portion that is still sharp. That is towards that tip. It's a good knife, I like it. I wish that steel would hold a little better, but I still love the knife. It's really good knife. Absolutely no problems with being just a slip joint, because it is a good mechanism. It's solid build knife, it's plenty strong and comfortable, light, and legal in most states and most countries. So that is definitely a big plus. So if you ask me if I would recommend something like this in your gear, in your collection, or as I would call it, a toolbox, 100%. Good knife, I love it. And I would just love to know if some other people who have this knife also have problems with the steel that problems, you know, quote-unquote problems. It is maybe just me being spoiled, used on the other steels, but honestly, other stuff from, I think maybe the difference is because those are USA made S30V, so maybe they have different processes, different heat treatment techniques. Who knows? Let me know, guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, stay safe, and remember, don't cut yourself.